Good morning. Welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. My name is Alpa Sharma and this is our daily editorial analysis. I hope I'm clearly visible and audible to everyone. Good morning, Krishna, Achal, Lishan, Rumisa, Shreya, Abhinav. Good to see you back. Good morning, everyone. Am I clearly visible and audible? ईशान अच्छा ये बता दो जल्दी से सीयूईटी को लेके है कंफ्यूजन चाहिए सेशन कर लूं आज एक सेशन इवनिंग में Do you have confusions about CUET and the CUET LLB program? I'm not referring to any other program. Yeah. Okay. Okay. We'll have one probably today or tomorrow or फिर एक important बात डिस्कस करेंगे क्लास के एंड में तो चलो स्टार्ट करते देखते हैं आज क्या है So I've got one article today and the article is from our favorite Aeon. इतना fun filled article है, you will love reading this and I'm sure आप लोगों के पास बहुत सारी कहानियां होंगी to add on to the meaning of the article. So मैं भी स्टोरी सुनाऊंगी, आप भी स्टोरी सुनाएंगे. We'll learn a lot of things from the article through storytelling. We'll take out vocabulary. I think I've got 3 pages of vocabulary from this article that we're going to memorize. And in the end, you will tell me the tone. But in today's class, make sure you try to write down the summary under my video in the comment section. Okay? I'll try to check each of the summary today. And in the end, we'll see the today's Hindu and Indian Express, and we'll see what are the important articles we need to read, and what are the articles we need to leave. Yes, Shubham, MHCT. Do you have a doubt about MHCT? MHCT, there is going to massive change. It's about CUET that has a lot of changes. I'm absolutely good, Ragini. I hope you're doing really good. Muskan, Ragini, Shreya, Abhinav, all of you. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so ready, everyone? Can we start with the vocabulary from today's session? Can I start? Okay, here we go. Hi, Abhinav. Good morning. The first slide. The first word is pesho. Okay, that's how you pronounce the word. That's pesho. Pesho is basically your inclination towards something. Is your pesho. So your liking, you are good at something is your pesho. So she has a pesho for adopting stray dogs. She has an inclination and liking towards doing this, and probably she's good at that. That's her pesho. The next word is clatter. That's basically an onomatopoeia. Do you remember what was onomatopoeia? याद है सब लोगों को onomatopoeia? Yes, Ishan, that will be enough. You're welcome, Vaibhav. Arshia. That was missing actually. I'm not sure when will I take. Okay, everyone, listen to me, everyone, very carefully before I give you the next word. Fondness for pesho, correct. Soft spot, correct. Determination related word हो गया शेफी. Now everyone, listen to me carefully. जो बच्चे मेरे पेड क्लासेस में आते हैं उनको ये बात पता है. जो बच्चे मेरी फ्री क्लासेस में आते हैं उनके लिए I'm going to be going on a break for a week because I am relocating to a new location. So the entire movement and my studio that needs to be set up will take time. So tomorrow I'll have a class with you. Wednesday onwards, I'll be on a break. So I would not have any classes in the page, in the free YouTube app, nowhere for 1 week. I'll rejoin my classes next week. Okay? So tomorrow I have classes with the regular ones. After that, Wednesday onwards, I'll not be taking classes. I'll resume the classes next Wednesday. ठीक है? तो अपनी प्रैक्टिस नहीं छोड़नी है. रेगुलरली न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ते रहना है, वोकैबुलरी निकालनी है, याद करनी है उनको, बिकॉज अभी भी पेपर में आर्टिकल्स आ सकते हैं. Okay? Let's start with the next word. क्लैटर ऑनोमोटोपिया हो गया, बेसिकली वो वर्ड्स जो अपने साउंड्स को रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं, ठीक है। यस यस अभिनव, यूर एब्सोल्युटली राइट। वॉइस लो है, रुको रागिनी, लेट मी फिक्स इट, 1 मिनट, फिक्सिंग इट बच्चे, 1 मिनट। I think that's going to be better. Is it better? Audible? बैठा बैठा बैठा। पेशवा फिर से समझाती हूँ, आपकी लाइकिंग, आपका इंक्लिनेशन कोई काम करने के लिए, कोई भी चीज की तरफ आपका झुकाव इज पेशवा, ठीक है। रागिनी फाइन, ठीक है। पेशवा फिर से बता दिया, ओके, ठीक है। और क्लैटर बेसिकली अपने साउंड को रिप्रेजेंट करने वाला एक वर्ड है, उसी तरीके का साउंड करने वाली चीज को हम क्लैटर कहते हैं। द हॉर्स स्पन राउंड विद अ क्लैटर ऑफ हूव्स, तो उसके हूव्स का जो साउंड था वो क्लैटरिंग साउंड था, तो रैटलिंग साउंड को हम क्लैटर भी बोल सकते हैं। नेक्स्ट वर्ड इज स्वॉपिंग, बेसिकली एक्सचेंज इज स्वॉपिंग, इधर से उधर हो गया, उधर से इधर हो गया, स्वॉप कर दिया आपने, एक्सचेंज कर दिया। एक्सचेंज जैसे बार्टर सिस्टम में आप स्वॉप करते थे, अपना प्रोडक्ट किसी और को देते थे, कोई और अपना प्रोडक्ट आपको देता था। Pershaw is not realm, no. Pershaw is not reinforced, नहीं नहीं नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं, ओके। हाँ एग्जैक्टली यशान, करेक्ट करेक्ट। बार्टर इज स्वॉपिंग। नेक्स्ट वर्ड देखते हैं, प्लेंटिव। प्लेंटिव अलग है, डोंट बी कंफ्यूज। प्लेंटिव इज इन अ मूड दैट्स अनहैप्पी, सैड, mournful, lamenting, ऐसा मूड प्लेंटिव होता है। प्लीज डू नॉट बी कंफ्यूज बिटवीन द टू वर्ड्स, ओके। आई एम श्योर आपको पता है दूसरे प्लेंटिव का क्या मतलब है। सो प्लेंटिव इज in a very sad and unhappy and remorseful and lamenting mood. Yes, 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 yes. Whimpering, brood related हो गया, pitiful, aggrieved, बहुत सारे, dismay. Yes, this is the first slide. बहुत सारे synonyms हैं इसके. Yeah. Appalling, correct. The last word for this slide, wail. Wail हो गया जोर जोर से रोना. Basically loud cry. When you are in a lot of pain, grief, or anger, is that kind of cry that you loud pitched cry is wailing. So Christopher let out a wail, maybe because he was hurt or unhappy. Slide number 1, take a screenshot. बहुत negative article नहीं है, don't worry. The article is a very nice one. Doleful, lamenting, yes Arshia, correct. Correct, absolutely correct. Right, yes. Howl, wailing से relate हो सकता है. Clamor, yes हेमेंद्र, clamor बिल्कुल exact synonym है. High pitch cry, yes, absolutely correct. Sob, Ragini, sob is the milder one, quietly crying with hiccups is sobbing, but cry with a loud pitch is wailing, okay? No, Vaibhav, no, not Web Live, no. The next one, it's the newest article, I think that was published yesterday. What does Aeon mean? Did you ever wonder about that? You've been reading articles from Aeon for so long. Did you even wonder about the fact, what does Aeon mean? What does it mean? It means, yes, it means something that goes on for an indefinite period of time or for a long period of time is Aeon. Going on and on is Aeon. He reached the crag aeons before I arrived. Long back is Aeon. Okay? Yes, that's really long. That's Aeon. I wonder आज बच्चे इतने कम क्यों हैं लाइव क्लास में? एग्जाम स्टार्ट हो गए बोर्ड्स के. Is that so? Do you have an exam today? Did you have an exam today? No, Violet? Yes, yes, Preeti. Or Aeon articles are also long. So maybe that's why it's long and Aeon. Okay, let's start. Okay, both are from 26th April. Okay, next word. A lair. Lair is a place where dangerous animals are kept. It could be a cage. It could be a place where they live, like a den. That could also be a lair. So he saw that his dogs had roused a wild boar from his lair. So maybe it's a den where he used to live in. Any place where dangerous animals live in is called a lair. Okay. Then unscathed. Unscathed is no injury, no suffering, no harm, no damage. Is unscathed. I came through all those perils unscathed. No harm, no injury. You passed through life unscathed, without any disturbance, damage, harm. That's unscathed. शेफी आज बहुत छोटा करके लेके आई हूँ आर्टिकल. आज मजा आएगा. आज हिंदू के लेंथ का आर्टिकल है. ओके. नहीं, जू नहीं है. जू नहीं होगा. लेयर. लेयर इज नॉट जू. Den, cave, burrow, these could be examples of layers. Yes. Okay. Unscathed can be undaunted. Yes, it can be. Next word. Vengeful. Okay. Vengeance. Heard of the word? Comes from the same word. Vengeful. Basically, बदला लेना किसी से, रिवेंज लेना किसी से, रिवेंज से ही वेंजफुल आ गया. दैट जस्ट अ मिनट गाइस, गिव मी अ सेकंड प्लीज. आई विल हैव टू पुट माई सेल्फ ऑन म्यूट हियर. Yep, back to it. So sorry. So where were we? We were at vengeful. Vengeful is full of revenge. Vindictive बोल सकते हो. Yes. Revengeful बोल सकते हो. Correct. Yes, Tanu. I'm going to take Watchers of the Earth. That's what I'm going to take today. Okay. Next one. The last word of the slide is quoted. How you take things is quoted. Okay. Paying special attention to win someone's favor is quoted. Western politicians quoted the leaders on the newly independent states. That is, they wanted to win someone's attention. Favor is quoted. Slide number 2. Jaldi screenshot le lo sab log and tell me once you're done. Vindictive, acrimonious, maleficent for vengeful. Yes, you could use that. Okay guys, so moving to the next slide. The last one. Cataclysm. It's like a disaster. A catastrophe comes from the same word. Something that causes destruction on a widespread level. That is cataclysms. The cataclysms at the end of any period. So basically destruction that happens at the end of any period is the example here. The last word, couch. Couch is how you express something in terms of the language that is being used is couch. So assurance were couched in general terms. How it was used in language was through general terms. So how something is used in language in a specific style is couched. Slide number 3. Jaldi se screenshot le lo sab log. Chaos. Just a minute. Catastrophe for cataclysms, yes. Apocalypse is a related one. It is. Alright, so ready to move to the article, everyone? Ready? Here we go. Beautiful one, but we shall not start with the first page. But before that, if you're targeting the CLAT 2022 exam, Batch 3 of the crash course has been launched. Study from the IIM alumni, study from the best faculty in the industry. We've got Nivedita ma'am, KD sir, Rabia ma'am, Vinod sir. Look no further. Jaldi se enroll kar lo. Time nahi hai aapke paas. Watchers of the Earth. We shall start reading the article from between, not from the first page. We shall start reading the article from this page. Let's see if we are able to grasp the idea, everyone. It's a beautifully written article. You'll have a lot of stories to tell me today, I'm sure. Anyone who has spent time around small children gets used to the questions why. I can never have enough answers for this why. I have a toddler who is 4 years old, who probably is in an age where this is the most important question of their lives. Why? So, anyone who has spent time around small children, they are used to the questions why. Why is the sky blue? Why do birds fly? Why does thunder make such loud noise? Why? And half of the times I don't even have answer to the questions. Of course, that's true because I don't know half of the answers. I'm not supposed to know them. You could ask me grammar, you could ask me English, you could not ask me everything else. So, it's okay, Bovis. Just listen to, I'm reading each line, just listen to it. नहीं बच्चे वो नहीं schedule हो पाया शाही. Yes, they're just curious enough. When this class started, Nandini? It started at 10. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so why does thunder make such loud noises? A friend's mother told us that thunder was God doing bowling in the sky. This kind of answers were actually good. I could probably answer my daughter with something of this sort, है ना? It's going to be brilliant. कि वो God bowling कर रहे हैं इसलिए ऐसा हो गया है. So nature need, you know what happened? A few days back, she was crying her heart out because she did not want to get old and she did not want to stay younger as well. So now she was confused. उसको करना क्या है? उसको older भी नहीं होना और उसको younger भी नहीं रहना है. And she cried for 2 hours. After I could pacify her, I asked her what's the reason. And she said, no, because I don't want to die. I don't want to become old anymore. So probably when somebody loses their life, we could say that God loves them so much that God calls them, right? We could give any of such explanations that God is actually bowling in the sky and that's why this is happening. Nature need to be scary and unpredictable. Even if it was controlled by forces, we could neither see nor understand. So we cannot see who controls nature. We can't understand that. That's why nature is scary and nature is unpredictable. Vikash, what's your question? I can't see your question. Where's your question? Okay, चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. देखते हैं विकास का क्वेश्चन आया नहीं मेरे पास. Nonetheless, the human pesho for stories and meaning is nothing new. I am sure all of you must have heard of so many stories from your grandparents, nani, dadi, telling you stories about why a phenomena around you is occurring. तो बारिश हो रही है तो इंद्रदेव हैप्पी हो रहे होंगे. सुनी थी ना स्टोरी. और बहुत सारी स्टोरी की ये फिनोमिना अगर अर्थ में हो रहा है तो ये क्यों हो रहा है. उनकी अपनी स्टोरीज थी, उनके अपने वेरिएशंस थे उस चीज के अकॉर्डिंग. मिथ एंड लेजेंड्स प्रोवाइड एंटरटेनमेंट. सर्टेनली डू. किड्स पूरा पूरा खाना खा लेते हैं ये स्टोरीज सुन के. They don't need anything else. They would rather eat double the amount if you tell them myths and legends because these are for entertainment. But now comes the main idea. They also transmit knowledge of how to behave and how the world works. So, when God loves somebody so much, God would call them. Can I use this example to explain the concept of death to my child? I did. So, it could possibly be a way of explaining how the world works. It could be an entertainment for some, but how you tell people, how you transmit knowledge and how you explain somebody how the world works, I think myths and legends play a very important role here. Bachpan mein when I used to ask my mom, Okay. I'll check that, Vikash, after the class ends. आगे चलते हैं. Breaking the code of these stories, however, takes skill. What is the code here? What is the code here? What code do we need to break? What is the code here? ये क्या code break करना है? Where is the code? What's the code, everyone? What code do we need to break? The actual reason, yes. The lessons that the stories give, the learnings we are trying to derive from the story, yes. What is the basis of the story? Because है तो ये सब myth. इस myth के पीछे क्या hidden है? Are they trying to teach us something through this? And what are they trying to teach us through the myth is what's hidden. Exactly. So we need to understand the idea here. That's the code. Tales of gods gone bowling during summer downpours seems nonsensical. Of course, because if you go by the logic of science, you would find all these tales nonsensical. कि God bowling कर रहे थे इसलिए बारिश हो रही है on the surface, but know a little about this sudden thunderclaps and the clatter of bowling pins. Acha, no, it's about the जैसे the moment bowling pins drop होती है, the moment the ball hits it, it makes a sound as if they're struck by a ball and the story makes sense. वही सेम साउंड हमको सुनाई देती है probably जब बारिश होती है, जब थंडरिंग होती है, उस बॉल के रोलिंग की साउंड होती है थंडरिंग की. So हो सकता है possibly it made sense. The god is actually he has gone bowling and he's enjoying a game of bowling. So it might make sense. सुनने में nonsensical लगता होगा जो especially science की तरफ बहुत inclined लोग हैं उनके लिए. These stories in sync, but इस पैराग्राफ से पहले प्रीवियस पैराग्राफ में जाते हैं. ठीक है, अब आते हैं बिगिनिंग में. Let's start reading this paragraph here, everyone. Now, shortly before 8 a.m. on 26 December 2004, the cicadas fell silent. These are birds, okay? The chirping birds in the night. And the ground shook in dismay. Possibly it was an earthquake? The Moken, an isolated tribe on the Andaman Islands in the Indian Ocean, knew that the laboon, which was the wave that eats people, in their local language it's the laboon, had stirred from the ocean layer. That is, the tsunami, it had stirred from its base. The Moken also knew, the tribe also knew what was next. They knew about it. But how would they know about it? Had they seen these things happening many times in their lives? How would they know about it? Basically, Vaibhav, it's representing how myths can explain what's happening around us. So, how did they know this already? What was about to happen next? These are birds, Ashmita. Stories and myths. Yes. No, not experience. The myths they had listened to. The stories they had listened to. The lagoon here is a name, a local name, a jargon used for the wave that eats all the people, aka tsunami. Vikash, I'll do that, my child, once the class ends and whenever I get time, because I have another class to rush to after this. But I'll try to give your answer as soon as possible. You could try reposting the question under this video as well. Okay, so and see, Shafi, the same rolling stone could be God playing bowling. So most of these Mohicans knew what was next. A towering wall of water washing over their island. That tsunami, cleansing it of all that was evil and impure. कहानी उन्होंने ये सुनी थी कि जो evil है, जो impure है, वो खत्म हो जाएगा. Obviously, the result was tsunami and the destruction. To heed the laboon's warning signs, elders told their children, run to the higher ground. And that's what they did. When relief workers finally came ashore to check out how many of them were surviving and how many of them dead, however, they realized that the death toll was skewed. What was skewed here? They had anticipated more number of deaths, but lesser number of people died. The data was skewed. The islanders who had heard the stories about Laboon or similar mythological figures survived the tsunami essentially unscathed. Why? Because their story told them, move to the higher grounds when something of this sort happens. Most of the casualties occurred in the southern Nicobar Island. Other parts where the Laboons used to, the story about Laboons were told, most of them were safe because they knew what should be done when something of this sort happens. So, can I say myth and stories can be used as a medium to transfer knowledge, medium to tell about how the world functions? Yes. So, this was only an example to teach people that evil and impure would be cleansed through the Laboon. What you need to do is run to a higher space. That would ensure that you are going to come out unscathed. Part of the reason was the area's geography. Ab dekho, the southern part of Nicobar Islands, it was the worst affected one. Maximum number of people died here. How? Part of the reason was area's geography. अगर आप scientifically देखोगे, तो इस geography की वजह से ही वहाँ higher wave बनी and more number of people died. But are we talking about scientific evidence here in the class? No, we aren't. We aren't talking about the scientific viability of it. Let's see what was the reason in terms of myth. But also at the root was the lack of a legacy. Possibly this part of the island did not have a legacy, did not have a mythical story continuing. Many residents of the city of Port Blair were outsiders थे तो उनको local stories पता ही नहीं थी, leaving them with no indigenous tsunami warning system. What is indigenous tsunami warning system? आपके दादाजी बताएंगे कि जब थंडर आएगा, जब लैंड शेक होगा, run to a higher land. So that was the indigenous tsunami warning system. But because Port Blair में maximum लोग बाहर से आए थे, उनको कोई indigenous tsunami warning system नहीं पता थी to guide them to the higher ground, and thus they suffered because of the tsunami. Humanity has always courted disaster. We have lived, died and even thrived alongside vengeful volcanoes and merciless waves. Although volcanoes देखो हमने हमारी country में नहीं देखा है, we haven't seen that. कार्तिक, यस, यही हमारी मिथ्स है ना, प्रलय आएगा, कलयुग आएगा, ये सब मिथ्स का ही तो पार्ट है. स्टोरी चलती आ रही है, कलयुग आएगा, कलयुग आएगा. Probably we are in the Kalyug right now. Yes, could we see that? Could we link to it? Probably climate change is an example of Kalyug. Probably people betraying each other is an example of Kalyug. Probably countries fighting with each other is an example of Kalyug. All of these were myths, right? Exactly, Movies. Correct. आपके रिलीजन में, आपके mythical stories में ऐसी कोई stories है that must have told you about something that's going to happen in the future, and when that happens you could do this or you could do that. Corona, yes. Chorus, how did I even forget that? देखो बच्चे, यहां भी हम आर्ग्यू करते हैं थोड़ा सा. ये जो था ना, जस्ट अ मिनट, गिव मी अ सेकेंड, जो स्टोरीज बताते थे यहाँ सुनामी वार्निंग सिस्टम, इंडिजिनस सुनामी वार्निंग सिस्टम, नाम हम उनको भी मिथ का ही देते हैं क्योंकि इनके पीछे कोई साइंटिफिक बैकिंग नहीं है। लेकिन अगर आप लॉजिकली देखेंगे इनको तो ये कहीं ना कहीं बहुत लॉजिकल है और इसलिए इनको मिथ बोलना थोड़ा इनकरेक्ट है। वैसे ही ऑल दोस पीपल हु थिंक प्रलय एंड कलयुग इज because we give it the name of a myth that probably is not as mythical because we can see some. Yes. So nonetheless हमने कहाँ छोड़ा था? Yes. Some disasters arrive without any warning, leaving survival to luck. Often, however, there is a small window of time. ऐसा डिजास्टर जो किसी बिना किसी वार्निंग के सडनली बूम हिट करता है, जैसे सेकंड वेव ऑफ कोविड, बट उसमें भी स्मॉल विंडो था हमारे पास. Did we realize that window? If we had realized that, then possibly the second wave would not have been as disastrous. So often there is a small window of time giving people a chance to escape. आप escape कर सकते हो, जैसे ये सुनामी में escaping था वैसे ही probably कोविड में escaping होगा, बट हम लोगों ने realize नहीं किया. We thought, oh, the first wave is over, let's travel. Learning how to crack open this window can be difficult when a given catastrophe strikes once every few generations. So, ये generation to generation कैसे transfer होगी knowledge? By stories. So, humans pass down stories through the ages that help cultures to cope with disaster when it had struck. That is, अगर एक generation में हुआ और आने वाले 3 generation में नहीं हुआ, तो कैसे prepare करोगे आप लोगों को? आप अपनी फैमिली को, अपनी इंडिजिनस लोगों को कैसे प्रिपेयर करोगे? यू वुड प्रिपेयर देम थ्रू स्टोरीज. You can't understand that. Okay, the article is not about children's stories. The article is only about stories. Okay, Vapsi. So, since I don't know what your name is और what your religion is, because अगर मुझे पता होता तो मैं आपके religion से कुछ कोट करके आपको लिंक करके समझाती अगर आपने वो चीज सुनी होती तो. बट मैं आपको let me explain this in a common example. So Vapsi, I'm sure as a child you must have heard of stories from your granny. दादी सुनाती थी, नानी सुनाती थी, दादाजी सुनाते थे, नाना जी सुनाते थे. और ये जो स्टोरीज है, हम देखो अर्बन एरियाज में रहते हैं, बट स्पेशली वो लोग जो ट्राइबल्स हैं, जो ऐसे रिस्की एरियाज में रहते हैं, उन्होंने बहुत सारी कहानी सुनी है. जैसे अर्थ गोल है उसकी कोई कहानी सुनी होगी आपने, या बारिश क्यों होती है उसकी कोई कहानी सुनी होगी. ये सारी कहानियां आपको बताते हैं कि वर्ल्ड कैसे फंक्शन करता है, वर्ल्ड कैसे एग्जिस्ट करता है. वही चीजें जो आप साइंस की बुक में पढ़ोगे वो आपको किसी ना किसी स्टोरी से लिंक करके पढ़ा दी जाएंगी जब आप छोटे थे तब. जैसे मेरा बच्चा मुझसे पूछता है कि मम्मा मैं गिरती क्यों हूं, तो अगर आप उसको कहानी से लिंक करके समझा दोगे कि बच्चे क्योंकि अर्थ आपको पुल करती है, तो आप कहीं से भी जंप करेंगे तो आप नीचे ही गिरेंगे, आप फ्लाई नहीं करेंगे. अगर आप उसको किसी कहानी से लिंक करके समझाएंगे तो उसको समझ में आ जाएंगी वो चीजें, rather than ratifying that. That's exactly what your parents and your granny and your grandparents did. That is how stories link to the whole concept. Yes, how world functions. अगर कोई डिजास्टर होता है तो कैसे बचते हैं. अब देखो डिजास्टर के बारे में और डिटेल में पढ़ते हैं. हाउ स्टोरीज लिंक टू डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट. Okay, because we have been discussing about disaster management a lot here. Let's see how it links to disaster management. These stories were fodder for anthropologists. They kept thinking about it, was like food for anthropologists and social scientists. But in the past decade, geologists have begun to pay more attention to how indigenous peoples rather, understood and prepared for disaster. That means, can anthropologists, social scientists, geologists learn from these myths? These myths that indigenous peoples follow to save themselves when some disaster struck them. Yes, they can. These stories which couched myth in metaphor could ultimately help scientists prepare for any kind of catastrophe striking them. So that's how it has started taking scientific space because people have started looking at logic behind them. First, tell me, is the word peoples correct here? Of course, Samarth, I'm sure you and I would भगवत गीता में लिखा है कलयुग में ऐसा समय आएगा जब जहां पर बहुत ज्यादा बीमारियां होंगी. We will tell to our next generation that virus like COVID may arise once again. And how do you stay safe? श्रेया, enjoy the story. Last में उसको recap करके टोन आ जाएगा समझ में. अभी देखो because this passage hasn't ended yet. Yes, correct. Group of people, peoples. Absolutely correct. तो ये पैराग्राफ हमने पढ़ लिया था. I started from between. Okay, now let me take you ahead. Okay. These stories, in sync with archaeological finds, provided evidence of geological events we don't have access to any other way. There are not many examples of wholly invented myths. The ancient humans were not like modern fiction writers, of course. उनका काम बैठ के कहानियां लिखना नहीं होता था. The point of these stories was to pass knowledge. कि अगर मुझे कुछ पता है तो तुमको भी वो चीज पता होनी चाहिए. कहानी के फॉर्म में सुनाते जाओ, बताते जाओ. And you know, अगर आप अभी ध्यान से सुनोगे, all these पंचतंत्र stories, all these stories that your books had, all these stories जो आपके granny, apart from the fact एक था राजा and एक थी रानी, सिर्फ क्योंकि बच्चों को चुप कराने के लिए कहानी सुनाते थे. Most of these stories had some story, some lesson, some learning related to them. Such stories regularly cropped up in the weeks and months following the tsunami. लोग बात करने लगे कि अरे ये कहानी हमने सुनी थी, ये myth हमने सुना था. Residents of remote villages knew exactly what to do and survived with relatively few casualties. And that's why scientists have started listening to the stories. As the stories gained in popularity, the idea that they had veiled geological merit began to grow. That means, can we learn from these indigenous people and their indigenous stories how अभिनव, तुमको ब्लॉक नहीं किया वीडियो टीम ने अभी तक? ओके, वीडियो टीम ब्लॉक मत करना इसको भी. ओके, ऑल राइट. सो Ashi, why are you confused? Did you not get the article? Did you not understand the article? Exactly, Movis. That's the gist. That's the gist. Through stories. आगे चलते हैं. The 2004 tsunami completely changed how science looked at disasters. There were more conversations between social scientists, natural scientists, and engineers, which led to more insight on how and why these disasters happened. So, सिर्फ और सिर्फ basic fundamental science में जाना कि ये क्यों हुआ? Can we study the society, social behavior, indigenous people, along with science to understand why these happen? Yes, we could. The destructive power of natural disaster hasn't diminished in the thousands of years during which these stories were told and retold. Probably चीजें और severe ही हुई हैं. Diminished तो for sure कुछ नहीं हुआ. Nothing has diminished. Especially the effect hasn't. Probably it has got even worse. And humanity now faces an even greater catastrophe in the form of climate change. That is, unlike floods, earthquakes, tsunamis, and volcanoes, the devastation from global warming. Here comes the next devastation. Did we hear stories about war? ये जो कलयुग है, यहाँ सब कुछ, everybody is going to burn and you would be fried in deep oil. सुना है कुछ ऐसा story? Is that an example of global warming? Isn't sudden and violent. ये sudden नहीं होगा, धीरे धीरे होगा, but जो होगा वो massive होगा. It has been creeping up on us for decades, but that doesn't mean it will be less deadly. To fight these changes, humanity needs a new set of tales. और कहानियां चाहिए हमको. Probably हमको बताया नहीं गया था कि इससे बचने के लिए क्या करना चाहिए. सुनामी से बचने के लिए तो बताया था, but और कुछ नहीं बताया था. Yes. हर्ष, did you join the class from the beginning? ये बताओ मुझे एक बार honestly. मैं आपको समझाऊंगी. No, no, not this. No, not you, Abhinav. The one on YouTube. Okay. मैं बताऊंगी फिर से जिस्ट क्लास का. हर्ष, मुझे सिर्फ इतना बताओ, क्या आपने क्लास बिगिनिंग से ज्वाइन करी थी? Can I continue? अब आया हर्ष रीजन समझ में, क्यों नहीं आया समझ में आपको आर्टिकल? द जिस्ट अभी तक जो हमने पढ़ा वो ये है कि कहानियां जो आप सुनते आ रहे हैं, indigenous peoples around the world tell stories which contain warning signs of natural disasters. साइंटिस्ट्स अब सुनने लग गए हैं इन कहानियों को. ये है जिस्ट इस पूरे आर्टिकल का. आगे बढ़ते हैं, देखते हैं. Most humans don't spend their evenings swapping stories around a campfire. Of course, that's a dream all of us would have. But every day we can't do that. But we haven't lost our passion for myth. सबको myth पसंद है, सबको कहानियां पसंद है. इसीलिए जो बच्चे मेरे पेड बैच में आते हैं ना, मुझे ये बताओ, मेरी ईडिपस वाली जो क्लास है ना, वो अब तक की बेस्ट क्लास होगी ना आपके लिए? टेल मी समथिंग योर. Exactly, chorus. That's it. Oh Lord, कार्तिक, ऐसे कौन बोलता है? हेमेंद्र, that's my point. Ah, yes. I know that Oedipus class is probably one of my best क्योंकि उसमें तुमने सिर्फ कहानियां सुनी है. You heard only and only stories from me in that class. And I'm sure you will never forget that class in your entire life. Even if you probably are 60 years old and somebody would ask you Oedipus ka story pata, you would say yes, I remember the story. So everybody has a fair show for myth. The same summer storms caused by gods gone bowling could also generate tornadoes. Of course, वो bowling करने गए हैं जो gods, वही storms भी create कर सकता है क्योंकि वो ball इतनी speed से निकली कि air wind बन गया और उसी से tornadoes बन गए. As a child in the Midwest, I knew all the signs. A sky that looked like pea soup, wind that had the energy roar of an oncoming train, and the plaintive wail of a warning siren. ये सारे myth सुनाए गए थे इस बच्चे को. A few years before I was born, a tornado had ripped through my town, leaving a path of debris less than a quarter mile from my home. Decades later, stories are still told of how gas stations were leveled on one side of the street, but a building diagonally across was untouched. So, एक रोड के एक साइड बहुत डिस्ट्रक्शन हुआ, दूसरे साइड कुछ भी नहीं हुआ. My personal suburban legends left me intimately familiar with what to do if I ever saw a funnel cloud. तो अगर आप एक ऐसा एरिया में रहते हैं जहां बारिश बहुत होती है या ड्रॉट बहुत होता है या सूखा बहुत पड़ता है, आपके घर में कोई ना कोई ऐसी कहानी होगी जो आपको बताएगी सूखा पड़ता है तो पानी ऐसे बचा सकते हो, सूखा पड़ेगा तो ये खाना बना सकते हो, बारिश बहुत होगी तो इस तरीके से बचा सकते हो अपने आप को. You will, I'm sure, have stories and learnings from your elders according to where you live in. Whether the disaster is earthquake, volcano, or ocean wave, modern responses will likely involve cutting-edge science. Of course, we need science, but chances are we'll also be spinning stories from eons to come. हम कहानियां भी बनाते रहेंगे. हो सकता है we tell our children about what? The COVID and prepare them. Yes. Okay. So from aeons to come, we'll go on with stories on and on. End of the article. Before that, before you tell me the tone of the author here, please like the session right away. Click on the like icon and please share it. I'm sure you're a part of a lot of Telegram groups. Please share this video. Do me this little favor. Pay your Guru Dakshina. Yes, Vaishnavi, we did. Movies बच्चे इनको इग्नोर करते हैं ऐसी चीजों को, है ना? Tone of the author. I've got 75 people live. Did you like the session? I've been requesting you to do that. Expository? Yeah, expository. Correct. The tone has to be expository, not narrative. No, expository. Agreed. He's telling you how. A bit of analytical, but mostly expository. Okay? And what will be the story which you share with your future generation? I'll tell them story, story, story. I can probably think of a learning that I could share with story. It has to be COVID. It has to be COVID. And one learning, since you have asked me, your parents are going to hate me for this. Don't delay enjoying your life. Once you start earning, save a decent amount for yourself so that, God forbid, if you need that amount, you have that available, and then go travel the world. Don't stop yourself. Touch every country. Enjoying does not mean you indulge into any activity that I would not promote. No alcoholing, no smoking, no drugs, nothing. Travel the world, eat local food, meet so many people. Don't stop yourself. Remember that. Remember that. CLAT 2023, if you're targeting this course, that is going to happen in December. CLAT batch 2 for this comprehensive prep course has been launched, and jaldi se enroll kar lo. I'll be teaching in this batch as well. So, okay, sharing today's Hindu and Indian Express in the background. Today's Hindu. Your parents might disagree to what I say, but I'm sure वो मुझसे बहुत बड़े हैं, उनका थोड़ा thought process अलग हो सकता है. Save some money and travel the world. एक country नहीं छोड़ना है. Checklist में होना चाहिए सारे countries घूमने हैं. Huh? And once you do that, message me if I'm alive. That ma'am, see, this is what I've been doing. Here you go. Hindu, Aeon, Indian Express. Here we go. So Aeon, mein, this is the article that I took. Do you love the picture after this article that we have read? Yeah, I do. Cowboy Progressive, इसको आप छोड़ सकते हो इस आर्टिकल को, okay? Nil by page is a good one. This article is good. और कुछ नया आया नहीं है अभी, okay? Let's have a look at the Hindu. Okay, just a minute. Just a minute. ये वीडियो अपने पेरेंट्स को मत दिखा देना बच्चे आज, है ना? Good morning, नीति. So here you go with the article. Okay, related pivot, skim. Skim. अच्छा, all the kids, सुनो बच्चे, अगर CUET पे सेशन चाहिए ना एक about LLB programs, please comment under my video. जितने लोग कमेंट करेंगे उसके अकॉर्डिंग I'll decide if you need a session on CUET or not. LLB program के लिए. हाँ, yes, this is a good one. This is a good article. Read this. This is also a good one. Skim. Skim. This is, of course, about the, oh yeah, skim. इनफैक्ट अच्छा है, ये पूरा पढ़ सकते हो, नॉट ओनली स्किम, रीड दिस. नो. You know about Ed Sheeran's plagiarism question, right? Read this article if you like Ed Sheeran. This, brilliant. Please read this. Meet space. Remember? Remember the word, everyone? Cyberspace and meet space. Next. Opinion. Yeah. So, courts must settle challenge to the electoral. No, leave. Why central services cannot be exempted from reservation of the disabled scheme? Social media has a serious disinformation problem. I'm going to take this article tomorrow. Okay. Pakistan's new PM. No. So, how to turn around Punjab's. No. This version of the Naya Pakistan. No. A surprising aspect of. अरे भाई नहीं पढ़ना है हमको इमरान खान के बारे में. Where Woodhouse runs into heavy weather. No. That's all. That's all. Winding up the class, but today at 12:30 I have a marathon on the BBA YouTube channel. Okay? Yes, Violet, I would. Okay? Alright, so बच्चे इमरान खान कुछ भी बोले मेरे क्लैट के पर्सपेक्टिव से वो इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है. Okay? So I'll see you at 12:30 everyone. I have a mega marathon. Make sure you don't miss out on that. Where is that happening? That happens on BBA YouTube channel of BYJU'S Exam Prep. Find that channel, subscribe to that and see me live at 12:30. Have a very good day everyone. God bless you.